Oof, we built bro's defense up just to take 80k normals. I'm sorry, man. The other day when I pulled Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta from that Goku Black Rift, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I personally am a stand for Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Whoa, okay. Alright. Took my breath away. That's crazy work. I can't complain, but you heard who I was glazing. You know who I was glazing. It was not this guy. I did not glaze Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I felt like I was ungrateful. I felt like I was being a bit of a spoiled brat by saying that, oh no, I wasted a Goku Black Rift on SSBE Vegeta. I'm sure he's one of the best units in the game right now, considering he is an anniversary LR. Wrong. I'm sorry, bro, but this Vegeta is absolutely positively buns, burnt toast. It's actually disrespectful because I don't know if I'm stupid, I don't know if I'm dumb, but apparently the reason why this Vegeta was on the right side of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, may his name be blessed, is because I guess he's his side unit. He's like his side character. You know how like you have the TUR unit, the new DFE, and then you have Old Boy right next to him who isn't as good, he's not great, but he's decent, he's an okay unit, and I guess that's what this LR is. And it's really unfortunate because he's technically a really good leader skill. Technically, he's the only 220% lead for Universe Survival Saga, but he is not the strongest person on this team. Homie, he requires a lot of investment, and he does not pay out. He is basically like AT&T, where you put a lot of money in, you don't get a lot of money out. Now, if you go ahead and look at bro's passive, you start to see the issue, right? You start to see the issue. The big thing that kind of gives you false sense of security is the fact that he starts off the match with 30% damage reduction. You're thinking, okay, 30% DR, that ain't too bad. But in a world where homie starts off with pretty meh defense, like he starts off in the 250k range defense, he is not a slot 1 unit. So he ends up becoming a slot 2 or 3 unit. And as you can see right here, one thing that really sucks for me on this Universe Survival team is that I have in Vegeta, a 6-year anniversary, obviously he has it as EZA, is way better than this guy in slot 1. I'm sorry, he just is. Very rarely will he be taken out unless it's a pure super and he hasn't been touched first. He is very, and he has a revive. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think the reason why they made this Vegeta so bad is because Universe Survival Saga is so busted that they just figured, listen, we could make him cheeks and subpar and he'd still be really good. Which is unfortunate because he ends up not being that special despite him supposedly being the leader for this category. Now, the problem with this Vegeta is that you have to invest a lot in him. He is basically someone who gets 7% damage reduction per attack, and that he gets a guaranteed 5 attacks depending on if you get 10 keys. So every 2 key you get with this guy, you end up basically being able to do an extra attack. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You actually have a medium chance of that becoming a super attack. That's the biggest disrespect, man. Even if it was a high chance of being a super attack, this guy is not that good. He's not a monster. He's not a big oogie boogie man. And not only is he not a big oogie boogie man, they actually disrespect him further by allowing him to raise his attack and defense greatly on 18 key, but then on the 12 key, where you're basically going to be getting, you know, all of your, most of the other additionals, he only raises attack and defense. That's disrespectful. If they wanted to put respect on his name like Cooler, he could have greatly raised his defense. Granted, Cooler doesn't have DR, but he greatly raises his defense, and that was built in eons ago. Like, I don't know why they zuck this guy, because he's not that good. And the big thing that comes with this guy is that when you get to the point that you perform 6 or more super attacks, not 6 or more attacks, 6 or more super attacks, he gets a damage reduction boost of 30%. So basically, no, unironically, that thing that you start off with where you have 30% damage reduction, that goes away after the beginning phase of 6 turns. You get that. And then the thing that he has that's really weird is that after the character performs 7 or more super attacks in battle, he becomes someone who only does critical hits. My guy, no exaggeration, on average, this Vegeta, whether it's a friend who's rainbowed or my Vegeta who's 55%, it's around round 8 that I see that happen. I'm not joking. Round 8. By round 8, You should have all your setups. You should have all your domains. Vegeta doesn't have a domain. You should have all your revive mechanics set up. Vegeta doesn't have a revive mechanic. You should have all your super attack, you know, boosting done. Vegeta does not. See, this is the most disrespectful thing. Homie, Mr. Vegeta has in his passive, right, raises attack and defense for 1 turn. They couldn't have given him the pittance to just raise attack and defense? Like, you couldn't be like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, where it's like, hey, you raise attack and defense. Granted, it's not a lot, you know, per turn, but over 3 or 4 turns, because you have the chance to super attack a lot, you will raise your defense. But no, he's buns, dude. He's terrible. Like, he literally lets you down repeatedly because he has a terrible kit. Like, I personally think that 2 changes would have revolutionized this guy. First of all, if he doesn't have a revive mechanic, it's not the end of the world. UI Goku and SSBE Vegeta, the good one, the int one, have that mechanic. I think personally, the attack reduction boost to 7% per attack, instead of it being during that turn, so if you do 5 super attacks, extremely rare, you have plus 35% DR, right? That, in my opinion, should be every 2 turns. So if you did 5, you know, super attacks per turn, which is extremely unlikely, you would have 35% DR plus the 30% after 6 super attacks. That's 65%. Going into next turn, you have a possibility to be a perfect tank. And the problem with this guy is that everything comes after he supers. And not only does everything come after he supers, he does not even block. Like, he doesn't block properly. The way that UI Goku works, the way that even Tech Jiren works, is that they can guard, okay? Their defense gets high and they can guard. Now, they might not have the most DR, they might not have the most dodge ability, but the fact that they can guard helps a lot. They could not even give this Vegeta the little bit of a penny iota of pity to let him guard, bro. I'm not saying give him extra DR. I'm not saying give him a chance to dodge. I'm not saying give him an actual good super tech that stacks. A little bit, like, just guard. Like we're talking about a unit from 2025. And we're talking about guard right now. Like, you can't give bro guard. And in my opinion, the thing that bothers me the most about him is that he doesn't gel well with the team. Like, he needs so much ki. Like, understand, he's guaranteed that 5 extra attacks per 2 ki. So now all of a sudden you have Mr. Ki Hog over here who needs all the ki on the board. So what ends up happening is if you have a unit like the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku and that Vegeta, who in my opinion are very good, and they're actually arguably better than this guy because they can get their DR before supering. That's a big deal, dude. Like, all these units, whether you're slot 1 or if you're playing this event, for example, they end up doing a group attack where it ends up hitting you before you can attack. And this guy Vegeta gets demolished, dude. Like, you build him up, you build him up, you build him up, and then what ends up happening is that he crumbles like a Jenga tower. Dude is not even that OP. Like, it's not like one of those units where you can argue and be like, okay, listen, once you transform him, he doesn't have a transformation. Once you awaken him, he doesn't have an awakening. Once you get to a certain point of time, you're Gucci. Like, bro builds up, the investment is worth it. He ain't worth the investment. Like, honestly, unironically, Vegeta will replace this guy. And it's one of those things where, like, I feel bad for people that got this guy and only this guy, because you're not going to see him as a leader, I don't think, because you don't want to run 2 of these guys. He ends up being a detriment to the team. Like, bro puts in negative work. You understand? Like, he doesn't link with Vegeta. He can never be a slot 1 unit. He doesn't even do fear. Like, what happened? Remember how, like, LRs, like this Jiren, for example, has fear at least, like 24 ki fear? What happened, bro? Like, was this guy designed in 2016 and they just put him on like the back burner and we're like, hey, we should bring this guy back now and we should actually use him? Because other than his cool in-game animation, other than the fact that, you know, he's a cool character, I feel like he was just rushed. He was just shipped out the door. It's like, here you go. Here's Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. People like him. He's cool. People will summon for him. And honestly, he really is like the worst anniversary unit in a long time. I personally cannot think of an anniversary unit worse in recent memory. If you really want to go back in time and really start like pushing through like historically, I think you're literally going to say he's the worst anniversary unit ever. And obviously he's not the worst unit ever, but for his team, he does nothing. For his outside his team, he's a liability. And only on Universe Survival Saga will he even be okay. Like, bro needs a support system that's ridiculous, bro. Like, bro really needs a helping hand. Like, it's Weekend at Bernie's when it comes to Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Like, it's nasty work. I don't know why they decided to release a unit who's so underwhelming as an anniversary unit. Like, this guy was advertised as the top 3. Bro was played in the trailer to the game like, hey guys, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, that's pretty cool. Super Saiyan Vegeta, that's cool. And then who else? Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. He is not even comparable. Like the distance between Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku is huge. Never mind Vegito. Vegito's in a class of its own where he's ridiculously OP, but at least the Goku has an animation mechanic where he can become a great ape. At least Goku has a mechanic where he has a lot of DR. He can be a slot 1. At least Goku does a lot for his category. Before this Goku came, Giant Ape was on life support, and now it's on life support with one person putting an IV into the dead body. At least has something. But this Vegeta really just shows up to a house party where the DJ's there, the singer's there, the music's already there, the drinks are already there, people are already there having a good time, and then he shows up and brings nothing and just freeloads. He just goes, he brings a bottle of water, and then he goes to the refrigerator to take Grey Goose. Like, literal deadbeat freeloader bum, disgusting loser. Nasty, nasty unit, and I cannot believe this dude showed up to the 10th anniversary unannounced.